And we live and we back. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James, where tonight I'm here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. And it ain't gonna happen, but that's okay. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Best. I think she stepped away from her computer real quick, but that's okay. She's
My
still
bad.
here with us.
I am
No,
here. You can't see me?
no, I cannot see you.
What the hell, StreamYard? Well, hey, y'all. I'm here. Me and my little ghost voice and my AI background. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm here and on camera. Let me try again. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It did this. I was like, "Are you
I'm
on
making a funny
camera?"
face at you. You can't see it?
I cannot see it. Y'all, let me know if y'all can see Mrs.
Wow.
Best.
What
Yeah,
the
we can't.
hell,
We cannot see
StreamYard?
you. We cannot. We could definitely not see you.
See, I
Hi,
just
Kevin
got here.
Reynolds.
They
Thank you for
already
being
messing
here.
up the church's money. Let me go off and
Right?
get back on. Sorry.
Yes. Shani, thank you for being here early. We appreciate you. And then your comment said, I wanted to talk to y'all yesterday about the Tamar and Funky Dineva. The first I heard about it was after you got off your live the other night about Potomac, and Scotty by nature was live, Clutch My Pearls. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you miss that live, Shani? You weren't in there with us last night? I'm sorry. Yeah, we talked about it. Um Yeah, I'm sorry. I know there's more that has come out, but we'll see how this is going to turn out because I usually like to wait to the end of things to see so nothing else can surprise me. But yeah, um, yeah, we need to see you. But I don't know if we'll see her, y'all. StreamYard do be tripping sometimes. But I want to say shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to my new subscribers who are on my channel. Welcome to Watch Your Mouth Reviews. If you have not participated in the chat, feel free to do so. Send me a comment. Let me know that you're here. And for all those who are not subscribed to me but watch my channel, hit the subscribe button. It can't hurt, especially if you enjoy what you see. So tonight, me and Mrs. Best are going to cover Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, First Amendment of Rights and Wrong. Y'all, this episode, I wouldn't say it was boring, but you could definitely tell we filler in a lot of different things because I'm about over this Meredith situation. I'm over it now. We are beating a dead horse with this at this point. This lady is not going to be accountable for what she does. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. Hi, Rose City. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. This lady is not going to be accountable, y'all. She says she didn't do it. Y'all saw otherwise. Y'all see where her mind games are playing. I would just say, okay, it is what it is. And my thing is, if Brittany's over it, then we shouldn't even be talking about this anymore. But we're going to talk about it, y'all, unfortunately. That's just how I feel. So I want to let y'all know that right now. So the episode actually opens up with Bronwyn picking up Todd at the airport in her infamous one of the many million costumes she has at home that she picks him up in the airport in. This one, I think, was a panda, an orange panda. Todd, however, was a little bit more joyous this episode. He didn't seem like he was the stern Santa Claus that I usually see him be in most of the episodes on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. He actually had a smile. I said, damn, did that help? Did that hurt, Cruella? Did it crack your face? That's a smile? Wow. But they're in the car, and from there, she's talking about, the last dinner that she had with the ladies down at Valters. And she said that she got in trouble again. And he said, shocker, probably running your mouth and everything. She goes, yeah, I lost some trust with Whitney and everything. And it was really bad. So, I'm thinking maybe I can, since I'm getting my U.S. citizenship, maybe I should have like a Boston spill the tea party. And Todd said, you know what happened back in that time. If there were people who were egregious or traitors, they usually would hang them. And she goes, oh. And I'm looking at that, was like, that was so cringeworthy. It's something about when white people say hang, it usually does not sit well with me. But I thought her idea was cool, and then when we delivered it at the end, I actually thought it was great. So, Mrs. West, how did you feel about Bronwyn and Todd's opening scene?
I wish she stopped asking him about these women. He obviously doesn't care. Give him a chance to show that he's some type of a good husband by asking him about anything else, please.
Yes, I agree 100%. She said, "No, I missed you yesterday. I was in Walgreens shopping for potato chips and Noxzema. I know. Shout out to Noxzema. Still use it to this day. Been using that for over 20 years. Yes." She was dressed as a sloth. Oh, okay. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate it. A sloth, not a panda. I'm sorry. Perception is everything. I didn't really pay that close attention to it because it was silly nonetheless. I did fast forward a lot of the scenes in this episode. Okay. All right. I'm glad y'all checking on each other. Hey, DM Rocks. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. All right. So the next scene we have is Whitney. Whitney is sitting out on her I think it was like a patio or balcony or somewhere like that. And she's looking at the water, drinking her glass of wine, and she looks very, very distraught. Justin walks up just to cheesing like he always do and sits down. He goes, "Hey." And she goes, "Hey." He goes, "What's wrong?" And she goes, "I just saw that really big transaction leave our account." And he said, "Yeah, I had to pay the vendors. I'm trying to get this thing all squared away." And Whitney gets upset and starts to tear up. And she goes, "I'm really upset with myself because there's a moment I had a deal with Sephora and I wanted my business to be there, Target, Ulta, all these places. And then you said that this deal would have been bigger. So I trusted you and this partnership for it to crumble in front of us. And now I have to pay my way out of it to get back my business and get out of this deal." And she goes, "There is huge part of me that resents you for this." And Justin says, "No, I feel that. I feel that you do resent me. And all I really can say to you is I'm sorry. I thought that this deal really would have been big for both of us and put us in a great direction. And, it just didn't." So there's a few things I have wrong with this scene. I understand where she's coming from. I'm going to say that first and foremost. I understand where she's coming from. But this is where I have confusion and I need her to clear this up. Because if you had deals on the table with Sephora and you're a beauty line, why couldn't you still keep that deal and have your store and have your products not only with this business, but with the other merchants that wanted to sell your product? Is that not how that works? Or do they have, like in real estate, it's a non-compete agreement where you can't sell your products to everybody else? Like, I needed somebody to explain that to me because I feel like if I have a product, it's going to go where the money goes. Like, if the money coming in and you want this product in your store, yeah, give it to me and I'll give it to you. So, Mrs. Best, maybe you have an idea of this. Like, I don't understand this. I didn't understand her at all.
You could have sat and been a housewife, but you chose to get advice from your husband who hasn't worked in years and years and years. I feel like clear women always look for someone to blame with their failures. Businesses fail. It's not often that every business you start is going to be so successful. Let's keep it a buck. If it wasn't for this show, the business probably would have failed either way. What I don't like is that she keeps insisting on talking about it without actually talking about it. Like, she's saying a whole lot while saying nothing at all. If you're going to talk about your failed business, then please speak about it in a way where we can understand how it failed and what you were doing. Right now, she's just complaining and is like, "Oh, I resent my husband for this." It doesn't make sense. It's giving maybe you need to go to therapy and figure out why you married your husband, because businesses fail. That shouldn't end your marriage.
Or make you resent him for something that could have failed, even if it was in Sephora. Yeah, or even if
his fault. At the end of the day, you chose to allow him to make that decision. You cannot get mad at him. That's on you for making the decision to go to him.
But I just don't understand why, if she had the deal on the table and told them no, I wouldn't, because I'm trying to figure out, like, why would you tell them no if they could have it in their store as well?
It's not even relevant because she's not going to tell the truth.
That's
okay. What I mean. Too many missing parts of the story. If you're going to talk about your business and what happened, really talk about it. Otherwise, no one wants to hear about you cry about how you resent your husband. We don't care.
I felt like that was unfair. Like, I understood what she was saying. In the grand scheme of things, I understand that. But at the same time, it is partly your fault too. Like, you can't just put that on him. Like, you can't just say, like, this is the one time I resent you. And it was like he was doing what was he thought was the best interest.
It's all her fault. If this wasn't her
Yeah.
husband and she made the exact same decision, you can't
Yeah.
resent them. That's just called you made a bad choice and a bad call that impacted your big business negatively. But because it's your husband, you want to cry and say you resent him and this was your baby outside of the family. Oh, well, that's business. Sometimes you
Yeah.
win some, sometimes you lose some. Move on.
Yeah.
Start a new one. Shit.
Hi, DM Rocks. I have a question. Where did Meredith find those urine cups from? Did she take them from a doctor's office? She probably has an account with Medline, which is a kind of facility that sells like doctor office supplies and stuff like that. Like you can start an account with them and order stuff like that. Or maybe Amazon had a line of these things. I don't know. But I know for sure because I interviewed with them and asked them that question. Like, can anybody contract with them? And they said yes. So yeah.
Depending on the product. That's not entirely true.
Well, I know, depending on the product, yeah. But because she's a business owner, I'm pretty sure facilitating drug
Even as
tests.
a business owner, I feel like Meredith went on Amazon.
That's what I said. That's what I said, or Amazon. But
or Walgreens, CVS app and ordered in bulk. They'll get it to you in 2 days.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, true that too. Hey Naya, thank you for being here. If she said Justin did something wrong, like he screwed up the deal, no, I think what happened was they probably wanted to get a big payout for it. And this was the way to go, but it probably was one of those things where it didn't sell the quota it was supposed to. So, and therefore, it ended up overturning whatever the offer was. Because sometimes those deals, when you don't contract with like regional stores and you do some company that's supposed to take it global, sometimes they fall through. And I think they sold a portion of that business as well, like Kylie Jenner did with hers. And I think that's why they're in the predicament that they're in, because you're supposed to have like regional numbers, and I don't think she did. Like that's my guess, and this is allegedly. I don't know how her business operates, but from what it sounded like it was something that was proposed to them, and they took it, and then it went back and it backfired. That's what it sounds like to me. Because I really don't understand the concept of her business either. To be honest with y'all, it was confusing. And it doesn't help that there's all these alleged, vendor schemes that she had last season. I think that didn't help either. So, I was bothered Whitney subliminally blames Justin, yet her second opinion was not even an option. Knock it off, Whitney. Yeah, I agree. That's why I said I understood what she was saying, but I feel like that was harsh. I feel like she was being way too harsh on him because he was only doing what he felt was best. And sometimes when you open a business, you guys, you do go in there with the intention and hoping that it works. And if you do, the networking correctly, it could work or it could fail. And you just never know. But it's about taking the risk and the chance. And she should know that being in business. Or was this her first business and she didn't know that? This is why going to Business 101 school is important. Because they tell you this. At RebelCon, Whitney asked Meredith to do a bath bomb collection or collaboration. No, I think they both need to let that shit go. Exactly. She's saying words that mean nothing. I'm still confused on what's going on with her business. Is it gone, or is it wrapped up in legal shit, or is it healing? So what I got from it is that they took, from what I can understand, is they probably took a partnership deal where they partnered with another company and it ended up not selling the quota it was supposed to sell. And she ended up, I don't think she lost her business. I think she's trying to get out of the partnership deal. And the only way you can do that 9 out of 10 is if you buy your way out of it. But you still have to pay vendors. You still have to pay for, I think it's still going, but I think that she still has it with this partner who can collect a dividend at the end of it. So yeah, that's my guess. I don't know what she did. She won't explain it. So it leads us to ponder and wonder what she did. But my guess is that either she sold a portion of it or she went into partnership with someone else who probably couldn't get it to deliver the way it was supposed to. Yeah. Yeah, I hope so, because she didn't explain what it was, so I don't know what she did. But to me, it sounded like you partnered with somebody who promised y'all based on who you are and what show you're on, and then he ended up not being able to deliver on that promise, and now he's leaving probably all of the vendors and all the people to get paid to be paid by you. That's what it sounds like to me. Yes, the merger failed, hence why money was lost. And I feel like this is not the end of it either, Kevin Reynolds. I feel like she gonna end up taking a whole lot of losses on this because I feel like to get out, because it's hard to get out of business deals without properly paying the adequate amount to pay them off. So I hope that they get it in time, and hopefully she keep this check coming in from RHO or Salt Lake City because I don't think Justin is working still. I don't think he's working at all. So I'm hoping this ain't their only forces of income is this. But anyways, y'all, we're going to move it along. So Heather's youngest daughter, Annabelle, is going to the University of Florida, Tampa Bay. And Heather is setting up her room, with all of the, I guess, Tampa Bay, like, what is that called, Mrs. Best? I'm spacing on the name of it, Lord, y'all. Whatever the logos of the school are and all the balloons and everything like that. Her and the other daughter, Georgia, who I love, is also helping. So the merger was with MLN Ponzi scheme mascot. Thank you. But wasn't Justin in some other shit first season about a Ponzi scheme? Wasn't he in some shit? I can't remember if it was him or if it was Seth. I don't remember who it was, but I think it was Justin that was in some shit before, and he had got fired. Yeah, it was Justin. He had got fired from his job for alleged he was involved with an alleged Ponzi scheme. That's what it was. So, okay, maybe I'm not as mad as Whitney as I thought I would be. It was just okay. I thought it was. So didn't Justin get fired because he was doing all the sex? That's what they tried to say. And I called that shit out. I remember it now. Because when we did the first episode, y'all go back and watch, I said that's some bullshit because literally the blog said why it happened and y'all did too. So now it was him being inappropriate with you. That's what she said to try to clean the shit up because she, it's been some time since 2020. So she thought we all would forget, but that's not what we knew to happen. I thought it was his company, right? Or am I remembering wrong? I don't know if it was his company. He probably had like a high position. Like, to me, it's given they worked in some financial company together, like a call center. And he was probably one of the district managers and she was maybe a supervisor and they were messing with each other. I think that he still kept his job and then she quit or something like that. I don't remember the story. So yeah, but I do remember. I don't think he owned his business. I think he had a high ranking position. Whitney's still an idiot, knowing the business they merge. I mean, now that you say it in that context, because I didn't know what that business was, I wasn't paying close attention because at the end of the day, it failed, and I know she finna suffer long repercussions over this. So I didn't remember, but now that you put it in my mind, I can't really fault Whitney, especially going through this with him before. So I don't understand. Whitney, one of them ones that the elevator go all the way to the top with her. But anyways, back to Heather. So her daughter, she has two daughters, and she's talking to her older daughter, Georgia, because she lives in Miami. And she said that, it's really different in Miami compared to Salt Lake City. She goes, the only thing that people think about when they think of Salt Lake City, Utah is Mormon. And they asked if she's Mormon, and she goes, I'm an ex-Mormon. And she said people are shocked by that. And Heather is happy that her daughters are experiencing different forms of life than, being at home. And that's why she's happy for all of them to venture out and be on their own people, be their own situation. Heather feels like she was a single mom, even when she was married. So she wants different from her daughters. And I love that. I do. I love when parents aren't afraid to let their child go out into the world and live their own lives. My mom was definitely one of those moms that said, get your ass out. I don't care where you go. See the world. So hence why I came to Phoenix. So it was real. It was a real cute scene. I'm. I have to give it to Heather. Those girls, they live in their life. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Going to college. She did a really great job. I have to give it to her. She did a really great job with those girls. Anything else you want to add, Mrs. Best? Because I'm going to move on.
I have not added anything, and I have nothing to add.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move on. So, um, it's Kevin Reynolds. The last thing is Bronwyn's big Boston spill the tea party scene. Y'all, we spent a long time at this event. I ain't even gonna lie. So Angie gets there first, and no one else is there yet. And she's thinking she's at the wrong location because she's like, why is no one here? And what's going on? Heather, Brittany, and Whitney are in the same vehicle, and they're also confused by Bronwyn's invitation. She gave them kind of instructions to dress and the founding father days time and everything. And I said Angie got it all wrong because Andrew literally looked like someone's medieval wife, but okay. Lisa and Meredith also did not. I don't feel like they dressed for the occasion either, so I feel like they got it wrong too. But it is what it is. But they all get there. They ask where Mary is, and Angie said that Mary's going to be a little bit late. And once they get there, Brahman rises up the garage door, and she comes in there with the George Washington wig and this big old black robe cape dress, and she goes, "Here it is, y'all." And everyone's all like, whoa, like, what is going on? And when she brings him inside, it's literally the setup of a Boston Tea Party setup. Now, I cannot lie, Bronwyn. This actually was cool. Now, the food you had was questionable, but this whole situation was actually kind of cool to see. That's like a school project, like most kids would have got an easy A in. And speaking of easy A, it was funny when the production was asking them all of the questions about the Bill of Rights and also how many senators are in the states and how none of them can get them answers correct except the one who's applying for citizenship. Very funny. I thought that was hilarious. So, as all the ladies get there, Brahma makes them put on a wig. And when Heather put her wig on, I said, why does Heather look exactly like George Washington? I like there were certain times in the conversations I had to laugh and couldn't take the scene seriously because I was too busy laughing at how Heather looked in this wig. I said, Brown, you know what you do it because we was finna laugh and we was finna holler when we saw Heather. But Mary gets there. Mary brought her own wig and brought her own stuff. She said, I'm not wearing none of that. None of that. And when she said they had hot dogs back in that time, and I'm just looking at Mary like, Mary, come on now. Mary be cracking me up. She don't even intended to be funny, but it was funny. Yeah, she could have had like something else. Like that food was questioned. Yeah, she had like egg salad sandwiches on a roll, and it was like, ugh.
What did y'all expect for American food? I'm just saying. What did you fucking expect from American food? Hot dogs, junk, bullshit, the nastiest of nasty. What makes America great is that we're so diverse in the foods from other countries. American food ain't shit.
Did show way.
Never
I was
has.
immensely bothered. Brahma hosted a 1776 party when Black people were not free. To have a Black woman there in attendance, read the room, Brahma, epic fail. I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I don't think that Bronwyn really thought this all the way through.
That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
We're getting to a point where it's like, you should think it through if you have someone there of color. Even if you don't have someone there of color, y'all love our money, but don't want to represent. And that's the thing with me, not to get all Black Panther-y like my daddy, but like Americans have this nice little habit, especially our current administration, of wanting to erase the negative parts that their ancestors did. I'm talking about the colorless. You know, they never want to talk about that. I'm not surprised. I think it's a good thing to bring up. And I believe Kevin's a HBCU alum. So, of course, I expect him to pay attention to that. But yeah, I don't expect this from this group. Little known fact, Salt Lake City is one of the more racially segregated and discriminatory cities in our country. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't expect much from these heifers. I'm honestly surprised the show lasted this long.
Well, as I said, it almost didn't last. They had to bring the black lady back for it to last.
Definitely.
So,
The best.
but as I said, I don't think she thought it all the way through. But at the same time, are we surprised it's Bravo? That was going to be my point. Are we surprised it's NBC Universal? Are we surprised? So, but I did think the aesthetic, though, she spent some money. She definitely did. My best friend lives in Utah and a Mormon. Okay. Good Mormons out there. I'm going to test. Oh, snap. Tuskegee University alum. Class of 94. All right, Kevin Reynolds, you better put that out on the table. I see you. I see you. So, Brahman has this bright idea that she wants to throw something overboard. So she has these big old boxes and she wants people to write, a name of someone you may have spilled the tea on. So it was funny because Angie went first, and I didn't see this coming at all, but Angie said, Lisa, you told people that you bought a horse, and then they flashed back to the scene where Lisa supposedly had bought this. She told everybody she bought a horse and she's gonna race it in Kentucky Derby or some shit like that. And Angie said, Lisa, I was told that you didn't buy that horse, that you was renting the horse and that you didn't buy it. And Lisa said, okay, here you go. All up in my business. I did buy a horse. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. She goes, oh, well, that's what I heard and everything. And then Brahm's like, okay, Angie, now that you confronted that you spilled that tea, go ahead and throw it overboard. And, you could have just said that out loud. Just say it out loud next time. You're supposed to be in this with me.
You were talking. Okay. I didn't want to talk over you. That never works out when it's like, you're virtual compared to in person.
Yeah. I don't think she does either. I don't think she has a horse either. I think that was some shit that she wants to compete and say that she does. And she do be in everybody's business. But what would you go say? Why did that argument annoy you?
Because it was stupid. This is part of why Salt Lake City needed Mary. I don't give a fuck about who rented or bought a horse. What does it matter? What is the insinuation? If she did buy a horse, who cares? If she didn't buy a horse, there's enough lawsuits out there that we would believe that she probably rented one. So who cares? I'm like, come on, Angie. This is why I didn't like Angie, and I'm starting to dislike her again, because I feel like she takes like the smallest, most almost invisible piece of dust and wants to paint it the brightest color and make it the biggest thing that we all have to see and hear about. I don't give a fuck. And there's so many other things that you could come for Lisa for, but you choose to bring up a horse.
Okay, because I sure would have said, Lisa, how them lawsuits doing?
It was a waste of space on the screen. I was bored. I almost fast forwarded, but luckily they ended it in enough time. But I'm like, nobody cares about the horse or if she bought one. And I feel like Angie's only reason for giving a damn is because her daughter rides horses.
Yep. Exactly.
And so what? No one said anything about the daughter.
She sure. I don't follow her on social media, so I don't know what she does. But she don't give me. She the type of person that will go out and buy something like that. I'm sorry, she just doesn't give me that at all. But the next person who goes is Brittany. Brittany said, well, I don't have anyone that I spilled the tea on, but I do want to know is who told Jared that I was making out with the crew members? And I said, Brittany, this is another one who needs to learn how to read the room. Don't nobody care about you and this man. And
it was very not Jared again. Very. That is all of us. Nobody cares about Jared. Jared is fetch. It will never be a thing. It's never going to happen. I don't care.
No one cares. And everyone's like, okay, throw it overboard because we do not care. Because Whitney comes forward and says, well, I told Justin that you were flirting. And as we saw in the scene with Brittany and Jared, he said, Justin told me about what you were doing. So Brittany, you knew who it was, because who else would tell Justin other than his wife? So I swear she's so fucking stupid. Like, I just can't with her.
Talk about she had a 4.2. In what? I don't think for not a damn second that a woman this dingy ever had good grades. And if she did, she was doing things she shouldn't have been doing for those grades. I'm surprised Brittany's still here, but
I know why she here. You know, colorless, goofy, dingy ass. They love them over there. This isn't the tea that Angie thought it was, but she wants Lisa to squirm, so she uses the pettiest sentiment she can come up with. The lawsuits and paying that man back would have been the perfect segment, because then I would have been more entertained. Because that's what we're gonna see her be squirming about, not no damn horse that either way, unless she shows us the receipt, we're not gonna never know. So yeah. I would have said, Lisa, that horse has a better diet than your whole household. That's how you read Lisa. Damn, not a better diet than her household. It was Mary's response when Jared's name. Mary said, "Oh no, not Jared." Yes. A 4.2. You know what, Kevin Reynolds? We're not doing this with you today. We're not doing this with you today. Brittany said she was a valedictorian. Wrong too. She says valedictorian. Do y'all believe she was a valedictorian of her school? I don't believe that at all. She needs to show me. I need to see a receipt. Brittany, if you watching me, I need to see a receipt. I need to see you. I need to see your actual speech, not you in some clothes collecting your diploma. Lord Jesus, Kevin, stop your computer glitching. Or did you mean to send that in the second comment twice?
She can't even get that right because she hunting the wrong thing. She hunting Scar. She needs to be going for Mufasa. She's failing.
Mm-hmm. So Bronwyn then goes. Bronwyn says, "Well, you guys already know who mine is. It's Whitney." And Bronwyn hit Whitney with the, there was a lot of trust that was lost because you found out that I went to Meredith and told her our conversation. I just want to let you know that I had to make a choice between keeping that conversation and also keeping my allegiance and my friendship with Meredith. It was a horrible thing to say about her, and I wouldn't be a friend to her as well if I didn't say that. And I said, Bronwyn, no. Now, I'm going to clear this up in just a second, y'all. But Whitney said that was supposed to be a private conversation between you and I. And I said, Whitney, I'm going to get you together too. She goes, well, you know what? Here's the thing. No, it was not a private conversation because I tried to stop you and say, hey, she's not going to like this. And so when they flashed back to what Bronwyn did, because Whitney said, no, you just laughed about it. Bronwyn did laugh, but then she said, Meredith's not going to like this one bit. Like when it gets back to her, Meredith is not going to like this. So, you might want to do some damage control before it gets back to her. That's what she said. Now, in hindsight, they're both correct. Bronwyn did laugh, but then she also said it could get back to her. Now, she didn't say she would be the one to run it back to Meredith, but she said it would get back to her. Now, this is what I feel. They had the conversation on camera. So 9 out of 10, Bravo's going to be messy and play it. So I think for me, Bronwyn was trying to get ahead of that shit to say, look, I wasn't involved in that shit. I don't think she should have said it. And I think that's how she ran it back to Meredith, that the shit is on camera, but I'm not riding with her on this one. It is fucked up because I kind of felt like she did make a choice in the matter of taking something, but Whitney had to know. Whitney, come on. You had to know that she was going to do that because it's not really fair to have that conversation on camera and then have Meredith be equally mad at Bronwyn at the same time because Bronwyn was on the plane with y'all when this shit happened.
If it's on camera, it's going to come out anyway. Whitney knows that she's been there since season 1. Also, the way that you ladies treated Bronwyn the first season, don't expect loyalty for any of them from her. Like these women are weird. They treat each other, they treat the newbies like shit, but then expect the most loyalty from them. They expect what they don't give. And that's the problem. And then I saw Bronwyn's recent interview talking about how Salt Lake City does not get copies. I sent it to James and Kevin Reynolds on Instagram. They're not getting copies of the show ahead of time before it airs. They got to watch it like the rest of us because there's such a bad leaking problem on this show. So Bronwyn's really the only newbie here and Brittany. So that leaves the rest of them. And we know Mary's not leaking nothing. So they can't seriously expect. Whitney getting mad just made no sense.
I was just going to say that. I don't feel like she had ground to stand on.
but you can't deny what you've said. You're not denying what you've done. You're mad that you were caught. And so you're essentially telling everyone that if you're going to be my friend, I expect you to keep secrets about the people I talk shit about. And you're also telling everyone that you're sitting with that you're talking crap about them. So Bronwyn did the right thing, especially to be on TV. That's why I think she's one of the better additions we've had as a housewife. Aside from her marriage being a mess, and I don't like how she deals with Todd, she's perfect for the show because she's going to call it out before they can call it out. And they hate that because that's what these women thrive on, is calling other people out. So put someone on the show who's going to call their own shit out. They have nothing. They have nothing. And Heather can go.
Her shit was so stupid. I'm gonna get to that in a second. But yeah, I agree. I felt like Whitney is delusional if she really thinks like that was an adequate like response. That wasn't a private conversation. You said it in front of a whole production crew who probably was going to air this scene. Like this scene was going to get aired. So you
common sense on reality TV.
Yes.
Discussion in front of the camera, whether it makes the cut or not, you should expect that it's going to come out. And for them to argue about that on a show, you're really not giving us a show by doing that. But they'll never really see it that way. They just
Yeah. So Heather goes and Heather says, well, Bronwyn, mine is yours. And, you know, I just want to let you know, because Heather leaked the whole Todd farting while making out with a friend thing. And she goes, you really didn't think that was funny? And Bronwyn looked at her and said, no, Heather, throw the shit overboard. It wasn't funny. And please don't say it again. And she goes, okay, well, you know, I'm just saying. And Mary said, Heather, throw that shit overboard. The girl said it wasn't funny. Mary was cracking me up. So Heather finally throws the shit overboard. And she goes, well, can I at least say sorry, Bronwyn? Bronwyn just looked at Heather and was like, this old ditzy ass damn cornball. And so it now goes to Meredith. And Meredith was like, oh, you already know who I'm about to talk about. It's Whitney and her lies. And the fact that she would accuse me of having a substance abuse problem. I don't have a substance abuse problem. Now, I have occasionally a drink and a gummy every now and then, but I don't have it. And she goes, Mel Meredith, I was going to talk to you about that. And Bronwyn just didn't give me that opportunity, but your behavior was erratic. Like you yelled at me on the plane and everything. And she goes, and Meredith's like, you're a liar. You're lying. And she goes, I'm not lying. So Meredith said, okay, get up. Let me get up real quick. So Meredith goes to her little box and brings out presents for everybody. And goes, one for you, one for you. And Mary said, okay, Meredith, you smell good, girl. And she was going around everybody. So everyone opens it up and says that it's a drug test. And she said, I have nothing to hide. So we can all do this. And let's see if it comes out clear that everyone's free and clear and not have any substances in them. Because I know I'm not the only one. I thought it was funny. I'm not going to lie. And my face was Mary's face when she first looked at it and saw what it was. And Meredith is continuing going back and forth. So finally, Heather jumps in. And Heather said, Meredith, for you to call me a liar, that is crazy. She goes, I'm not lying. That's nothing happened. She goes, Lisa, you said that she told everybody that if you're going to side with Brittany, that you're not going to be our friend anymore. And Meredith said, I didn't say that. And Lisa then doubles down and says, no, she didn't say that. But Lisa, at Vultures, you said she did say it. Now, here you go. Jumping back and forth. Because Lisa's position is she can't go against Meredith, but she also doesn't want to lie. So she kind of had to pick and choose the battle. And she tried to just pick with Meredith, which I thought was crazy because we have you on camera admitting it. So that was stupid on Lisa's part. I think Lisa, their allegiance is weird because when the shit hits the surface, Lisa slips up. She's not as solid as Meredith needs her to be. And that's
we've known that about Lisa, but I think that they're both equally bad, just in different ways.
Oh, of course.
And so it's easier to spot out what Lisa does. And I'd also like everybody, James included, to stop acting as if Meredith is this good manipulator or speaker because she's an attorney. Because the way that she speaks and the way that she handles shit tells me that it could be the reason she's not practicing law anymore. The bitch can't lie for nothing. She's bad at telling the truth. She's bad at talking. Who buys a drug test as a way to say I'm not on drugs. It was almost like, you all on something too, but just take it. Take the test. I was annoyed with this whole.
I wanted them to take the test. I was the only person like, okay, they're gonna take the test. So what happens? Does it turn yellow if you got something, or
Now I'm
Well,
looking like everybody got something to hide. And because if somebody hands you a drug test and ain't nothing in your system, then take it. Like if I take a drug test, my pee might be green from the devil's lettuce, but there's nothing else in there. I don't have a problem doing it on live. I don't have a problem doing it at any time. So I looked at these ladies all like they were a little bit crazy. And it's interesting that they're all fighting with each other, because I feel like if they would have left other people on the show, like for instance, Monica, it's kind of good that she's not here because it's forcing these ladies to kind of turn on each other because they know they can't come for Mary. That's not going to work. Bronwyn was received well, so they can only do so much with her. So it's like all of the OGs plus Angie are just coming for each other and desperate for a moment. I want Bravo to shake up this cast before their egos get too big. Like just swap out 2 housewives and add 2 new ones. You know what I mean? Get rid of 2 OGs and add 2 new people. Because I'm getting tired of the same arguments season after season, when the reality is ain't none of them shit. They all lie. They're all shady. They need a change up. Especially, I would love to see Meredith and Lisa stay and they add some more interesting people to this cast, because then they'll be humbled. Because they just have weak bitches. Because Meredith and Lisa should be easy to check. And it's making me look at the others like they're weaker. That's just how I feel.
I agree. I agree as well. And so Heather is losing her shit saying, I saw you, I heard you, you yelled at Whitney and saying that you wanted her to show you the TikTok. And Meredith said that didn't happen. She didn't yell at Whitney. And Mary looked over and was like, that's not how I remember it. She 100% yelled at Whitney, and she did ask her to show her the TikTok. So I don't know what Meredith is on. Like, she clearly does not remember what she did. And they show another flashback of Mary trying once again to reason with Meredith and say, no, that's not what happened, Meredith. You were yelling, you were screaming, you were being belligerent.
She was yelling. I think that Meredith did harass Brittany the whole flight, but I don't think Meredith is stupid enough to lose her marbles and holler on a flight. I do believe her with the one line she stated about wouldn't TSA or someone would have talked to me, because that is true. Mid-flight, there are things that they can do to shut people up. I've seen them do it on the flight. So I'm sure that she was messing with Brittany, but I feel like she was doing it in a quiet way. I mean, and even when we look at Meredith, it's very rare that she's just hollering. What is she most legendary for? The "you can leave." That's the one time she maybe yelled, but Meredith usually goes off and says snide remarks and stuff without hollering. So I'm sure that she did something to Brittany because she is cruel, but I don't think that she was yelling. I think the other women, which they have a bad habit of doing on this show, are making it seem like she was just hollering and had lost her mind. And then we're getting to all of these allegations about whether she's high or sober or whatever the hell. The only person I trust is Mary. Something happened. Obviously, Meredith tripped out in a way that people should be concerned about, but I have a reason to concern is likely related to why they all have drug tests in their hands versus her just acting a complete fool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I heard they might play footage of Meredith going off on the plane at the reunion. That would be the only thing, because as I told y'all, I have a hard time with this as well, where I could see Meredith doing it, but not to the extent of what they're talking about. Like, I could see her doing it, but I feel like she did it in like a Mean Girls kind of way where it's underhanded, like burn book style, throw gum in her hair, or, stick a pencil, in her hair and get it stuck or something. Like, she gives me like catty girl, like fuck with Brittany, not this whole aggressive.
I don't fully believe it, because if Brittany's on camera and somebody says something crazy to her, she will at least say something back, even if she's in tears. Nobody's going to make me believe that someone was harassed for 6 hours and did not turn around and be like, okay, can you guys just leave me alone? Because that's the part that's missing from the story as well. So I do agree with you. Something happened, but not to the extent that they're painting it. And no shade to the colorless. Y'all got a history of painting shit to be far worse than it actually is when things happen. So
yeah, I'm gonna read some comments real quick before we move on. Meredith remembers exactly what happened on the plane and everything she said, but the lawyer in her will not allow her to admit to anything. Now, Mrs. Best just said that she's not as good of a lawyer as we are putting out to. And I do agree with my friend. I do. I don't think she was a great lawyer. That's why she's not doing it anymore. But I do think there's certain habits that she has that are still of lawyer-esque. Like I do
You
see
learn
that.
certain habits with any field of work that you go in. Like I overanalyze things because I'm in mental health and psychology, and my job is literally to assess and analyze. But I don't think, but we're still human. It's not, your career is not going to become so embodied in you that everything you do is going to relate to it. I think people need to give Meredith a break with that. Can you see her in court? Are we really going to not defend my client against the lies and the nastiness? Like, I just can't see her doing it in court against no shark. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't say she, we didn't say she was like, no, like top tier,
I think she might have been slightly better than a public defender.
Probably.
And I
Yeah, I was going to say.
Probably stepped in and stepped up. She probably got pregnant before she could really get into her career. That's what it's given. And nothing's wrong with that.
No, nothing. No, because passing the bar is good enough for me. So,
right.
yeah, that shit is hard. Meredith was aware they are acting like she blacked out. It wasn't coherent. I think she remembers everything. However, it happened. I just think their perception of what happened and her perception aren't matching. Because to her, maybe she doesn't feel like she was yelling and that she was venting to Lisa, and that since Brittany was in front of her, everything was pointed in her direction. And maybe there was like a point.
Why nobody offered to switch seats with Brittany? Because if I saw someone that I did not know who was being yelled at and berated and harassed on a flight that I had to sit on for that long, and I'm sitting away from them, I'd offer to switch seats with Brittany, because a first class seat is a first class seat.
Yeah.
And they do let you do that on flights. So I think that the women are lying. I think that Meredith is lying. And I think that Lisa is lying. The only person I believe is Mary.
Same here. The rumor is 3 people are on the chopping block. And I hope that they stick with this time, because they've been saying this for a few seasons now, that somebody's on the chopping block, and they never are. They are adding people. I really feel like, to me, the 3 people they need to get rid of, based on performance of this season. I'm not saying like throughout the entire time. They need to get rid of Heather. They need to get rid of Whitney. And I actually want Angie K to go too.
I actually don't agree with that. I would leave Angie K and swap her for Meredith. It's time for Meredith to go.
It is time for Meredith to go.
Have a storyline at all. Meredith doesn't do well in arguments. It is not fun to watch, because she's just going to deny, deflect, deny. That's no fun if you're going to do that every single time. She's predictable in how she behaves and how she acts, and she makes small things bigger than they need to be. She's boring as hell. Meredith needs to go.
Let me tell you why I know she's not going to go, though. That's why I said Angie K. I'm being realistic. I'm not saying my personal views, because it would be Meredith, Lisa, and Whitney if it was my personal views. But from the business standpoint, I have to think of who she's friends with.
Who you're friends with business-wise, you need to think of what the show was entertaining. This lady is not entertaining. It's draining to watch.
Yeah, but she colorless. I think that applies if it was one of us and we talking about Love and Hip Hop.
But
yeah, if it was Love and Hip Hop, then yeah, no,
if you want somebody who's problematic is somewhat like Meredith, at least Lisa can be problematic and entertaining. Meredith's panic attacks and freakouts and meltdowns aren't even entertaining.
I don't see them getting rid of Meredith. I just don't see it.
She hasn't done nothing since season 1. But bitch and moan.
It does annoy me that none of them are slamming Brittany for trying to be messy and saying Seth is cheating. He did cheat.
About this.
Yeah, allegedly, because that was just rumors that were out there. They came into this show separated. And Meredith said, I'm dating people. That's where Lisa got that whole calling her a garbage whore thing, which I tell you, I have not let that go, because I've never heard such an egregious thing. But I'm saying, for me, they kind of came into this saying, yeah, we sleeping with different people. We separated. This is what they is. So there's always going to be that attachment. That's why I wasn't that mad at Brittany, because one, I believed it. Personally, I believed it. Like, I believe he has somebody.
Meredith's marriage has been a joke since the bitch got famous. And that's just the honest to God truth. It is. And she's boring. She has no storyline. You went from bar mitzvah to this. I can't with Meredith.
Thanos, you are the loudest about what happened on the plane and what Meredith did. Why didn't you switch seats with Brittany? Yeah, that's who needed to switch seats with her. But I think Heather sat next to on the other side of them, like she was in the same row as them, but on the other side. So I don't think that would help. I think if anything, Brittany should have switched seats with Mary. Because I think Mary is one of those people that they would not come at Mary like that. And I think that she was so far away from them that they wouldn't even be able to see Brittany if she switched seats with Mary. That's what I felt like that should have happened. Angie before Meredith, really, James. From a business standpoint, I would see them getting rid of Angie before Meredith. I do, from a business standpoint.
I don't know what business you're looking at, but if you look at the seasons of the show and you think of a show, not a regular business, the show is dependent upon who's interesting, controversial, has a storyline. Meredith is none of those things. None of them. Iconic one-liners are not going to get you put on and help to make the show interesting. I personally felt like the show could have survived even without Mary coming back if Meredith wasn't here. And then the way that she handled what Lisa said about her, I was like, oh, you're not for TV. You're not entertaining. You're not. If anything, I keep Seth over Meredith, and that's saying a lot.
Yeah, but this is why I say that is because Angie auditioned for season 1 and they chose Meredith over her, allegedly. So that's why I said, and if this is what she's giving,
but then people choose people incorrectly all the time. What happened season 1 is irrelevant because what happened season 1 almost killed the show. As quiet as it's kept, even with Mary there. So it's one of those things for me. I'll just never see Meredith here as a good business decision because a lot of times Bravo does pass up on the wrong housewives. Look at
absolutely.
Look at Potomac right now, the disaster that is that. So just because they made a decision in the beginning doesn't mean that was the right decision, because if it was, they wouldn't have had to make the choice to bring Angie back in the first place.
Well, from what I understood, Dana didn't want the position. She actually said that out her own mouth.
Child. But why wasn't Meredith enough? That's the thing. She would be good as a friend of, but she will never be good enough to me as like a full house. She's just boring.
She is. No, I agree with you, but I'm
crying about her gay son and wanting everybody to not talk about her marriage that she presented, as you said to us, as broken. Now she wants everybody to respect it like it's just strong and something to look up to, and it's not.
Shane said Mary not giving up her window seat. And I wouldn't have either, but no, if they were picking on her and I saw that, I would have gave it my seat and I would tell them to sit down somewhere.
Or production could have, because they were there too.
They were there too. Yep, exactly. Heather's not going anywhere because she does production's dirty work. You know what? Heather should have been fired a long time ago. And I kept saying that.
People don't even like her no more like that.
I don't think we ever liked Heather, but I think that after she pulled that shit with Jen Shaw, she should have been gone too. But like you said, colorless have a lot of,
Send Heather to Florida, because that's another thing. When Heather's kids are gone, Heather will have no storyline. So I do think production may keep her just because Heather has no storyline. Nobody wants her, so she can't show us her dating. So if anything, they may keep her because she's more likely to do the dirty work because she got nothing else to show. I know she'll be on Love Hotel, but I know that's not going to work out.
Oh, that's going to be like a Flavor of Love episode. Angie and Mary are valuable and well liked. I agree. I can't see them getting rid of her. Maybe potentially, but I could. But understand why she would be picked. Her beefs with Lisa are dry and unseasoned. I think what it's going to come down to is a decision between either Lisa or Angie. Because I don't see Meredith going there. I just don't see it. Like, I want to, because in my personal view, Lisa, Meredith, and Heather are going.
Business-wise, you would get rid of Lisa, who is the center of every single beef on a reality show. You have to explain it because it doesn't make sense. I would get rid of a lady who has literally nothing to give but lies and an alleged unaired meltdown on a plane over somebody who has lawsuits to be talked about, a marriage that's clearly breaking and falling apart, a child that's in a religion that she's still vehemently defending, in addition to her getting the
that she's not talking about.
Deals. But she's still getting the multiple brand deals and stuff. Eventually, she's going to have to talk about it.
Now, she's not. I think she's not going to talk about it.
When you get to that point, then judge it. But based on what you have right now, keeping Meredith over anybody. If anyone on this cast had to go, I would pick Meredith or Whitney, just because Meredith, Whitney, or Heather, just because none of them have anything to give. But business-wise, Bravo will keep Heather because she'll do the dirty work. Whitney in this MLM, she's willing to kind of sort of bullshit and talk about it, so they may keep her for that. Lisa, we don't know, because she's never been in a situation like this, so we have to wait until more happens with her lawsuits. And I have not heard anything or seen anything with
me either. That's why I feel like, that's why I said that. I don't see, like, for me, if you're not going to talk about or show you in the courtroom like they do Karen, or you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're not willing to do that, I can't have you on my show. I can go find somebody else problematic in Salt Lake City and bring her up on.
Also would not be willing to do that. And that's the thing. Meredith and Lisa are the same. Lisa has much more wow and is more interesting.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. But I need her to show that wow.
This is Mary.
She's not. This is Mary's show. This is Mary's the reason why this exists in the first place. I know Lisa wants to take that credit so badly, but no, we're not.
Lisa not even really from Salt Lake. Be quiet, Lisa.
Yeah, y'all see Thanos is making sure she puts out that Wayfair out there. She's gonna make sure she gets another check, and I don't blame her. I would too. Give me all the free furniture and endorsements. Absolutely. I will definitely showcase this every time I get. Yeah, this came from Wayfair. Y'all like it? You just push this button. This what it do. Trust me, I would. Wayfair, if y'all want to give me a brand deal, I will promote the hell out that shit. So yes, come on. I'm ready for it. But yeah, but that was pretty much the episode. It was just a bunch of bullshit. Once again, I'm sick of this Meredith storyline with what she did on the plane, what she didn't do on the plane. Until y'all showed me some footage of what she did, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. Y'all can keep this shit because it's stupid at the end of the day. Don't nobody give a fuck about this no more because y'all had an opportunity to show us on the episode. So at the reunion, I feel like it's going to be a dud because I'm not going to care. And then that's when I'm going to read the production for filth on that episode.
The season's been a dud. Nothing's happened. Nothing. We thought that something would happen, but they used Lisa's lawsuits to talk about in one, maybe two episodes. And then after that, we've gotten nothing. I think Salt Lake City is one of the most overrated housewife franchises, and I'm not trying to be mean. I am highly entertained by Salt Lake City. I love Salt Lake City, but I don't feel like there's much.
Well, no, we can't compare this to like an Atlanta Housewives when it first came over.
Comparing it even to Atlanta Housewives, like I don't feel like we can compare the Black Housewives shows or the Black shows on Bravo to the shows that aren't primarily Black. But I do think that this is a show that is highly overrated in terms of the cast, because when you look at it, everything that they advertised, we got in the premiere episode or we're going to get in the finale. But in terms of in between that substance, there's no buildup, there's no interest, there's no nothing. Every season they get by because there's a huge bomb drop. First Monica, then Jen Shaw, then the stuff with Brooks in the earlier seasons. But it's never because the castmates themselves are interesting, with the exception of Mary and now Bronwyn. But in terms of the OGs, like, oh, these scallywags can go.
Honestly, they can keep Mary and Bronwyn and just build a show around them. I'm pretty sure they know somebody up in there. And keep Angie too. I'll keep Angie with them. Them three, I can keep. Everybody else, because I don't, as I said, if Lisa's not going to talk about these lawsuits, I don't care.
Nobody cares, yeah.
If Lisa's not going to reveal that man, I don't care.
Lisa, Heather, Whitney, and Meredith, in my opinion, have done too much damage to stay here. Heather has no storyline, lied about getting hit. That's an HR issue. Whitney also really has no storyline and is not telling us the full truth about her business. She did something shady. We don't like MLMs. Meredith has not had a storyline ever. Probably will never have a storyline and is never going to do so much that she's interesting, doesn't handle conflict well. And Lisa's proved to us that when the going gets tough, she want to talk shit about everybody else's stuff, but she don't want to even speak on or mention her own stuff. So that makes you useless for TV. Go live your private life and be a regular citizen and enjoy your money.
Or lack thereof, apparently.
MLM is multi-level market scheme. It's What's a good example of one? Like Cutco, they were one.
I forgot the other.
There was another one that started
Yeah.
in the Mac. It started with M. I can't remember the name of it right now. There's been a bunch of MLM schemes everywhere. Fire Festival started from an MLM scheme. It's quite a scam.
Yeah. I was surprised. A beauty line. But hey.
I mean, Mary Kay, allegedly.
But that's the thing. I feel like even that's not even. I mean, I get everybody was selling it, but yeah.
What?
Did you say Petco, the dog store?
What about Petco?
She's saying, was it an MLM scheme?
No,
Petco's not an MLM. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking she's talking about.
I was actually a store manager at Petco for 9 years. They're definitely not an MLM scheme. They're just a retail store.
No, we're talking about like Shana. We're talking about places like where people's grandmothers probably sold them at some point in their
you have
everyday.
To order,
yeah,
like,
you have to order it like
or kind of like Avon is a kind of something like Avon.
Avon, yep. Avon was.
I'm not saying Avon is an MLS scheme, but they've been caught up and accused of it a couple of times.
Allegedly,
like they gotta bring you. If you gotta have somebody come to your house and you gotta wait for the ladies' catalog, usually you want to watch out for that.
Yeah. You don't put your credit card on them either because they're hard to dispute.
Oh, yes. I said Cutco knives. Do y'all remember that? I might be showing my age a little bit. And the other one, Kirby vacuums. They used to knock at your door trying to sell you a vacuum cleaner that would break the very next day.
So, fun fact, my grandparents, that's the only vacuums they've ever owned.
A lot of people are like that.
That's like, yes, my grandfather will pay the $2,000 to get a Kirby vacuum. I will never understand it for the life of me.
Shani said, not Petco. What? Why? Don't trust everything Petco say either. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I legally can't say too much, but read the ingredients of your food. Don't just trust the section that it's placed in and check the dates. You're welcome.
Well, okay then. So that was Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, y'all. We've been here a lot longer than I thought we were going to be, but that's okay. It was, as I said, this was a filler episode. Not much happened, and it is what it is. But the next live I will have on my channel, I don't think I have a live until Sunday.
Really?
Yeah, I only live in Mary Huntsville.
Yeah, well, James said he's going to join me for Love During Lockup, which is part of my Love After Lockup series.
I did say that, yes.
I've really done it alone, but he's going to join me. I'm excited for that. We'll collab with Keywan J. He also said he would join me for 90 Days Fiancés Before the 90 Days, which airs this Sunday. So I'm happy about that. He also said he'd join me for a Diddy documentary and a Mary documentary. So James has been in the spirit of giving, y'all. I'm happy.
I have been. Well, here's the thing. It's more so supporting my friend throughout everything on this YouTube journey since we started it together. So I'm going to swallow my pride of being apprehensive and actually watch the show. And you know what? The first segment of that was Married at First Sight, and I actually loved it. So who's to say the only thing I probably won't love is the Mary documentary. That's probably the only thing I'm not going to love.
I mean,
because
that'd be good.
Yes.
To see what they do. Because TLC sometimes be on some bullshit. Shout out to Naya's husband. How you doing?
Hey, what up? What up? Come on to the live now. Come on to the live.
I'm trying to get my husband on a live.
Shani said, did you see the preview for these two crazy broads going back and forth about a Porsche? Who had it first and how many they got?
Yes.
I did see that, and I don't care.
In this economy, the worst thing that they can do is what they did on camera. It shows a disconnect.
It does, because who cares about who had a Porsche what? Who cares who got the first G-Wagon? Who cares about who had the first Range Rover? I don't care about this because none of y'all had money like this 20 years ago. So who the fuck cares at the end of the day? That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, but we're going to go to Mrs. Best channel so we can get to those trolls of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Y'all, that was such a annoying episode. So y'all don't want to miss this. I promise you, go over to Mrs. Best channel right now. Make sure you subscribe and hear us out. So yes, we'll go over there and we'll see you guys there. Bye-bye now.